having
Did
a good
he
time.
did he give you guys creative control over that project?
Um, well, we came in with it. We came with it. Yes and yes and yes, and he's. I mean, I'm gonna say yes. There was really no discussion of what we're not gonna do, and we didn't have any problems with going back and forth about what the content was. We brought something to the table, and he enhanced it.
Right.
And with the additional with his writing skills, his additional writing in it too, that really took it to the next level. So we just whatever he said was go because that shit was sounding good. Because we
Right.
would come in, he'd be like, "Look what I did," and then we'd be like, "In the conversation," you know what I mean? Because it would just be that good. So he would take our little beat, our raps off the little beat that we had, from the producers in training. And then he would, because you know how you get the producer. When you first start, you just kind of go to anybody, cousin Ray Nim's cousin, brother.
Right.
And so-and-so got some beats. Okay. And then they'd be like a Casio keyboard. Well, he kept on, woo, 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 woo. Next level keyboards and shit. And the drums, we just went from here to there. And all the next level sounds. So, it was about us really moving up to the level that we should have been on.
Right.
Nothing against those producers. It's just a stairway to heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's just a stairway to where we were going. And he saw that and he took that and just ran with it. And I'm so grateful.
So, what do you remember
Yeah.
most about the reaction to your first single, "Something Right" to the Funky Expedition?
I remember when we first heard it on the radio. I'll never forget it. So it's so funny because I was watching the Salt and Pepper movie.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much, and just their story is so much, very much like ours. How they've been like this, but the exact same thing happened. We was driving down the street, in this movie. This was in their movie. We was driving down the street, just talking and shit. We used to ride by the lake, Lake Merritt. And we used to ride around the lake, ride around, then pull over, drink some 40s and smoke some weed, and then ride around the lake, ride around the lake. And then we stopped at a stop sign. I think it was on Grand Avenue, right by the Grand Lake Theater. And Funky Expedition came on the radio. It was either Michael Erickson or Chewy Gomez or David Cook, Davy D, sorry, on I think it was 107 KSOL. And we both jumped out the car at the same time, doors wide open. People wouldn't steal your car back then. We
Right.
was just standing there dancing in the street. Oh, that's my song. And the girl was going, "That's my song. That's my song. We on the radio." We was yelling at everybody in front of the Grand Lake Theater. I'll never forget it. And Salt and Pepper did the same thing in their movie. So I cried when I saw it just because it reminded me. Yeah, but
Right.
yeah, that was it. And then next thing I know, we're going, phones ringing off the hook. We go wherever we go, everybody's like, "Oh, if I say we're going to tonight, we're going to this party," everybody came. We started having barbecues and just all these people come out. And we always hung out with like Money B and Shock G and like some of the rappers that were around from the Bay, because we were friends with them.
Right.
But it really went to the next level once Funky Expedition came out. Then next thing you know, we're gone. Like Priority. Well, before Priority was Priority Records sent us on a tour. They put us with William Morris Agency, the biggest Carrie Lewis, the biggest fucking show promoter, and she put us to work. We was on the road, and yeah, we were gone. So that was the greatest thing. The first time we went out, we actually got in a camper and drove across the country. It was from here to Chicago. No, did we go
Mm.
to, I mean to New York. And then but it was great because we had security, drivers. All we had to do, we sleep in the camper. It was like a little, they had a bedroom in the back and then like beds all on the side. And it was like 6 of us. We all fit in there just fine. And then we would stop at hotels, every along the way and do free shows for all these radio stations
Mm.
in every city. We'd be like, "We coming to your whatever your show night is every Saturday." Some of them we popped up on. And then Carol would get on the mic, start freestyling, and they'd be like, "Who is that?" Then they play our song. We had in stores, but they put all the posters up back in the day when we used to do in stores. It was like there was some real shit going on. It was
No
real.
doubt.
It like you had to pound the pavement and hit the bricks to really be seen and heard.
Right.
It was in the Bible Belt, just all out of pocket, smoking and shit all the time at the hotel. And then somebody said, "You in the Bible Belt." And Carol was like, I mean, it was just it was crazy, but it was so beautiful. And then when we hit the black colleges, that was I think we still owe somebody some money from the black college. We went to jail, and that dude bailed us out. I don't know where you are, but I think we owe him $500. I don't know, and some dude bailed us out of jail, and we didn't have like he just bailed us out. Like we was there, and then we was making phone calls and stuff because I know he was with us. I think he worked at the college. I don't know who that guy is, but if you're watching, hit me on Instagram.
No doubt.
I'm gonna fly your ass out here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go to a concert or something because you got me out of jail.
Right. Can you talk about a little bit of your favorite lineups and tours during this time?
Absolutely. The greatest and best lineup tour that we went on was called, well, we call it Summer Jam. It's different in every state. Out here it's the Summer Jam. Out there it's the Splash Jam, the jam with the radio stations across the country. The biggest one and the greatest concert we ever did was Outkast, Tribe Called Quest,
Mm,
Conscious Daughters, Wu-Tang,
mm,
um, and like three other people. I can't think. And then there was another one we did with Ice Cube, Nas, Sweet
mm.
Sable. She sang, "Smoking a blunt and sipping on a Heineken." She was on some of our tour too, and there was just these huge people, and I just remember us being like, "Wow, we really made it," at that time.
Right. Absolutely.
And pulling up to those arenas, especially the one in Chicago. I can't remember what it's called, but it's huge. It's probably the biggest arena I've ever been in. It has this underground, like parking garage. We had to. I felt like we was walking. Like, where are we? Like, we walking to the next city to get to the stage. And then that's where I met Nas and a bunch of people, and it was just like I'll never forget that. Thought I was gonna have a whole heart attack.
So we're talking like 94.
Yeah, 94, 95,
So,
95.
oh man,
Definitely. Maybe
that
96. The whole 94, 5, 6 to 7. It was, and then it was constant after that. It was, so many people. We went out with J. Rue the Damager, and we did a stint with the New York people. And we came back, and Kara Lewis just had us, jumping on a bunch of different shows and stuff. But it was the greatest time of my life. Those photos are priceless.
right. Before we jump to your sophomore album, with the debut album, what kind of reactions, reviews, what was the general public saying after you guys dropped your debut album?
Once we got the billboard on Crenshaw Boulevard, I knew it was love. LA was probably our biggest market,
Mm,
um, just because our record label was based there, Priority Records. We were on Paris's Scarface label, but he was distributed through Priority, and then eventually, we got turned over to Priority. But um, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
just a reaction, like what was
Oh
you,
yeah, it
you
was so
know,
big.
I'm sure
Oh,
you picked up the Source magazine and
yeah, the
everybody.
magazines, and then Tower Records did an in-store for us, and I remember us pulling up, and the line was all the way around the block, down around the corner. I saw all these people waiting to see us. I couldn't believe it. We were so big, and then yeah, I just knew when I was in the grocery store, and you see people whispering, and then they come up, and they started coming up to us a lot. And my parents was like, "Well, you can't be going out by yourself anymore." You know what I mean? Like people might try to rob you because I didn't. We would just me and her just be riding down the street. And I knew once we needed security that it was happening for real,
Right.
for real. Yeah.
I think there was like a 2 year gap between your first and your second album. What was going on in that 2 years before recording your sophomore album?
Really, we did a year of touring and then another pretty much year of doing the album. Like it took a while. It sounds like a long time, but I think that's pretty normal because we were just really traveling and touring from the first album. And that was a good solid year of just traveling and getting that show money and just so once we came home, then we started working on the second album, Gamers. And once we got the release date, you finish the album, the release date's going to be 3 4 months 5 months later, because they want to promote it and do all that stuff. So that's what happened. And then we put out a third album, but after that Gamers album, Napster happened. Around 97, was it 97, 98?
Yeah. Yep.
Napster came out. Priority Records called everybody and said, we're shutting down. We're not doing no music. This thing called this MP3 was a threat. I remember, I was like, how do you do it? I downloaded the whole Stevie Wonder catalog, everything Michael Jackson ever did, all of Luther Vandross. Like, I just started, once I got that connection, I was like, oh shit, I'm down. I was burning all kind of CDs. Like, this is just stealing music, just stealing music, just stealing music. I hate to say that, but it was stuff that I couldn't even find.
We're all guilty, trust me.
Stuff that rare stuff. Like, I would have been happy to buy it, but not in that book that I got.
Right.
But we're all guilty. I don't, don't take me to jail because I ain't got it no more. It's proof, okay?
Right.
But anyways, I could be lying. But yeah, but then after that, a lot of those labels, record companies started going under, and then they started merging. So Priority Records, so they put us on. They put us on hold. Said we're not recording anything right now. We'll get back to you. And it was almost a year later. Then they dropped us. They dropped everybody, most of us, except a few people. And then a year later, they went out of business. Then we got transferred over to Universal, who then sat on us for a while because they didn't it was a whole years of this going around. At the same time, I got pregnant. I had a son, so it all actually kind of worked out okay. And I had my son around that time. But we were still doing shows and stuff. And so we were able to get money to be able to keep it going. And, plus we had our money from our contracts and stuff. So we were able to still stay, relevant.
Right.
But that's what happened. And then after that, we just kind of, I don't know what happened. Life happened. I started having my son. I was like, well, I can't really travel that much, So I had to wait for him to grow up a little bit. We were just living.